Alright, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to show you how to make a very simple bouncing ball in Photoshop. So let's go ahead and pull up Photoshop, and I'm going to make a new document. New. Okay. And I'm going to use a size, I guess it really doesn't matter for this right here. So I'm just going to go to, I didn't want to go to web, film and video. Film and video, and I'm going to stick with the basic size in TSC DV, that stands for digital video. That's a very common size for video on the internet. Okay, and let's just call it a bouncing ball. It's okay. Don't worry about the message. Okay, so I'm going to kind of open this up so I can see my area, and I'm also going to press, I want to get rid of, I don't need the grid this time, so I'm just press Command H to get rid of that grid. Alright, so let's go ahead, let me set up my workspace here real quick. Okay, so right now I'm going to have one layer, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a new layer to put my sphere on, my ball. So I'm going to create a new layer by going to Layer, New, Layer, and I can go ahead and just call it Ball. That's okay. Now on this ball layer, I will create just a simple black ball. So I'm going to, there's a couple ways to do this, but one way I'm in the habit of doing is using my elliptical marquee tool and just holding shift will give me a perfect circle. Making sure I have black as my color, and then I'm just going to fill that in, edit, fill with my foreground color, which is black. So there I go. And I can go ahead and get rid of my marching ants by going to select and then deselect. Now, to animate this ball, I'm going to need some different windows. I'm going to go to Window, and I'm going to use my Workspace. I'm going to switch my Workspace to Automation. Actually, I can just switch it to, I don't need Automation. I can switch it straight to Animation. We'll just want to turn Animation on right now. So I'm going to turn Animation on. Okay. Now, when you turn Animation on, that brings up this bar at the bottom of the screen. And what that is that's a timeline, and there's a couple things on here I need to show you. This tells you your frames per second, however many, so every second we'll see about 30 different pictures every second, 30 frames per second. Okay, down on the top of this bar you'll see this is 15 seconds, this is 1 second, 15 frames, 2 seconds. So every notch is another 15 frames. You can change the frequency of that if you need to. But there's another little button I need to show you way down the bottom of the corner. This is your timeline view, but if you switch it to this will show you your frame view, and it will show you individual frame. Right now this frame is playing for 10 seconds, so that ball is just staying there for 10 seconds not doing anything. Okay, but we're going to fix that. Okay, so I'm going to use my move tool, and let's see, so I can move this around. Alright, so let's take let's change the time so it stays. I'm going to click on this little down arrow and change it to no delay. This is the time in between each frame. As soon as it's done playing the first frame, I want it to immediately go on to the next one. So I'm going to choose no delay. Okay. Now I'm going to hit this little, I want another copy of everything I've done so far for my next frame. So I'm going to choose this little button right here to see if I can. It's called Duplicate Selected Frames. So this is the frame that's selected, and I'm going to click that button, and now it has duplicated. Now I'm going to move this one, okay, use my move tool, and I'm going to move, make sure that I'm moving the right thing. I'm going to move the ball up into the air. Okay, so now you can see that this guy is right here, and then he's up at the top right there. Okay, now I'm going to duplicate. Actually, if I want it right in the same spot, I'm just going to duplicate this frame. Let's see if that works. Duplicate that frame, but let's take this frame and move it to the end. Can we do that? Yeah, we can. Good. So it starts here, it goes to there, and then it ends there. Now, one of the cool things about this is probably a new vocabulary word. It's called tweening. Tweening is adding all the pictures in between from here. So from here to here, there needs to be a few balls in between. Feed the ball because the ball is going up. So we need some pictures of the ball going up. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to select the first one. Okay, I'm going to hold Shift and I'm going to select the next one. Okay, now I can click on this little bitty button right here. It's called Tweening. You should see pop up Tweens Animation Frames. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now you can tell it how many frames you want to add in between those two pictures. I'm going to put it at about 10 frames. Okay, and it's doing it to the ones that I have selected. See, selection, well, those are the two that I have selected. Okay, and just press OK. Wow, it adds all those frames and it moves it up for me. Okay, now I'm going to do the same thing when it gets to the very top. So I click on the top, this one right here, and I hold Shift, click on the last one, and again I'm going to tween that. Click on the little tweening button, and I'm going to add, I guess I must have put 11 earlier on accident. I'll add 11 again. 11 frames, and bam, now it adds 11 more pictures. So you can see the ball starts off from the bottom right here and moves up, and then it goes down. It's going to end up going all the way down to the bottom. Now, you're also going to see some controls, just like a DVD player, some controls at the bottom. This is rewind. This is single frame rewind, play. This is single frame forward. So I'm going to rewind all the way. So now I'm back at 1, and I'm going to press play. Now, when Photoshop does not, it's going to play slow at first. Okay, it's like you can see how it's actually going through. And I'm going to play it again. Look, I can change it to loop once forever. Okay, there we go. So now when it plays, it'll just keep doing that over and over and over again. Okay, let me stop it. Now when I switch to the timeline view, remember how we switched to timeline view, this little button, okay, you can see that this is my timeline, okay, and when I press play, that there's this bar right here, green bar, grows as it goes along. It's only going to do that once as you play until you get to the whole thing. What that does is it's rendering so that whenever you play it again, it'll play at the intended speed. So I can just loop it. And there's my bouncing ball going up and down. A movie. I'm going to rewind it to the beginning. This is my time slider. I could grab that and move it forward. And you just go to File and Export and Render Video. Now this gives you a bunch of different options depending on however you want to save it. For my class projects, I do want you, or I will require you to export it as a QuickTime movie, and it should be good like that. And just press render, and then it'll save it to your computer, and you can tell it exactly where you want to send it to. Right now, if you look, mine is in my folder, in my documents folder, so that's where I would look for it. And I hope you enjoyed it.